trying to heal, and my inner child is probably what saved me doing so. I almost fell out of my own self, and I kind of owe it all to my childhood. I feel like a lot of us are told to grow up when we do the things that we enjoy and try and change, and we're told growing up is a part of life and you're not able to play with toys anymore. Sorry, Dad. Sorry. You're too old for video games. Okay. But those things were the only things that gave me happiness when I couldn't rely on anyone else. When I wasn't able to play with my dad because he was working or outside doing some fuck shit that I had no want or desire to do whatsoever. And a lot of that, it's going to happen to everybody. I mean, it's hard to constantly have someone to hang out with, unless you have a brother, like I do. But during those times where I just want quietness, it was a lot easier to just go ahead and fully immerse myself into a WWE match. Had the ring and everything. Undertaker versus Dolph Ziggler. Let's go. And those things are what give me happiness. It was my creative mind, in a way, expressing myself and expressing in what I love. In WWE, let me tell you, was probably the first entertainment that I truly enjoyed and truly loved. I don't give a fuck that it was fake. It was my enjoyment. And watching the WWE was better than football, baseball, MMA, all that weak shit. WWE got it. Okay? And even to this day, I'm still not a big sports guy. I like my MMA. That's about it. And even then, I'd hardly ever watch the UFC. So, sports are not my thing. And that's probably why I liked WWE so much. It was fake. And it was more interesting in my eyes. I fucked with the storylines heavy. So heavy that I would go and make my own. I had a big ass collection of WWE action figures. That I think is the first thing I can start. I remember collecting was the basic WWE $10 figures. And when my mom wanted to spoil me, she would give me the Elite, the one with the ab crunch and the double knee articulation and all the fancy stuff with more accessories, right? And I was collecting them for a while, I think. And then I just kind of stopped. I didn't feel everybody was telling me WWE is fake at the age of like 12 to 14, 13. And I was just like, don't say that. And kind of broke my heart the first time my uncle told me, you know that shit's fake, right? I'm just like, come on, Theo, why you do that? And he damn near crushed my dreams, man. I wanted to be a wrestler and everything. But I was also very insecure about the way I looked. And I figured I could never make it in the WWE if I was fat and a chud. Which is crazy to say, considering we got like the Big Show, and I did not want to watch WWE no more when everybody was yelling in my ear, "It's fake! It's fake!" I'm just like, come on. It was the best form of entertainment at that age for me. And I was also really big into Marvel. I watched the Avengers movie in theater, so I was definitely into Marvel, and then I grew out of it, just like I did everything else. And when I got to like 13, 14, those teenage years where puberty just starts to hit, your body's changing so much. So guess what? So was my mind. And my mind was not focused on what I feel like is a good term, nerdy shit. That's what I was told it was. And that nerdy shit just doesn't stick in middle school. Everybody's trying to act all cool, be the bad boy with the leather jacket, smoking a cigarette. I'm just kidding, I didn't grow up in that generation, but wanting to be all cool, and bullies are very much a thing. Raise your fucking kids right. The one thing that just was sticking to me was I need to change. Nobody could really like me for my nerdy shit, so let me change. Let me become something that's not a fat chud, basically. And what I thought was gonna, get me in the circle was my outfits. And I went to a middle school with uniform. So the only thing that you could really do to stand out is your shoes. So I begged and begged and begged for Jordans. And don't get me wrong, I still love those fuckers. But I just wanted to stand out. And I wanted to be accepted within. And I felt like the only way I could do that is if I up my shoe game. Because your boy had Walmart shoes growing up, the Shacks and the and ones. And I remember being embarrassed for the longest time just because how much shit would get spoken to me about that. But at the end, it was what my mom could afford. And I have no shame in that. This world is fucked up. Shit's expensive. But again, going back to raise your kids fucking right, there was a lot of bullies. And I was heavily picked on because I was an easy ass target. I didn't really speak up for myself. I was a fat chud. That's probably number one. Fat chud, had Walmart shoes on, had a fucking mohawk. I was just not cool. Like, I would run around the playground pretend I'm fucking Cyclops. So I thought, maybe I need to grow up. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking at 13. You can't do shit at that age, by the way, for growing up. But I changed my shoes. I was still playing Fortnite every fucking day. There's just some things that I thought were going to make me more accepted. Fortnite wasn't it. I'm sorry. It was cool to win, but Fortnite was not what got me accepted. And I was still a fat chud in just these sandwich looking Jordans because I had some fat ass fucking feet. And those were getting me compliments though. And I'm not going to lie, that shit had me lighting up like a star. Okay? But it wasn't enough for me. So I'm like, okay, it's time for high school now, whatever. COVID happened, still in middle school. COVID happens, I become a fat chud throughout the entirety of COVID. Watching a shit ton of regular show, eating a shit ton, and it just was not a good time. I mean, I was isolated, and that shit, honestly, it's having such an impact on society today with the amount of quarantine that we had to go through and the self thoughts that were constantly flooding our minds and no social connections whatsoever, just being locked up. That shit's fucked with a lot of us. And doom scrolling has never been as strong as it is now. Motherfuckers, we're all at 8 hours of screen time. But, anyways, having to go back at the end of freshman year fucking sucked. I was a fat chud. So, during that summer, I was like, fuck it. I'm outside every day. I'm running up and down, just running shit, right? And I did lose a shit ton of weight. I stopped eating pretty much. I was doing fasting, whatever. Keto diet, that bullshit. By the way, I only did for 6 months. If you're on a keto diet, do eat fucking carbs. You need that shit for energy. Don't eat bullshit ones. But I was running a shit ton, barely lifting. I was benching. I had a barbell and a set of plates that went from 10 to 45. And that was it. And I was doing whatever barbell shit I could. And other than that, I was outside running and I wasn't eating. And it did get me really skinny. Got me to fit some clothes pretty well. So sophomore year, I was feeling myself. I was feeling the best I think I ever had. Still no girlfriend, by the way, which fucking sucked. But that changed 3 months in, right? And I ended up get my first girlfriend. And let me tell you, I completely lost myself after that. I completely forgot who I was. I was somebody completely different, but it was all in a performative way. It was all to impress the people I was around and keep this girl on my side, And it was not anything like how I perceived my first love to ever be, considering she wasn't. But it's just over time, I completely changed as a person. And I was no longer a fat chud, but I was also performing every fucking day. And I'd rather be a chud than a jester, but I'd rather be a chad than a chud. But there is only so much that we can do in order to preserve and keep up this act to where my inner self would show, and it would be during the worst times, during arguments, during just times where I felt insecure and I was full of anxiety. I didn't focus on that while changing and becoming somebody who I thought was more accepting. I did not heal from the trauma as a child between my father and sometimes my mother and just honestly everyone around me. A lot of it coming from the kids I grew up with. That trauma was never healed. And I still had this inner anger just boiling in myself. Every time somebody picked on me, it was just another piece of pay, another dollar into the curse jar, whatever metaphor you want to use for this. Just bottling that shit down, never healing it through it, and just continuing every day to perform and dress up like a fucking clown and lose myself in the process. But it was a tough time going through again puberty at this age and not knowing how to heal and not knowing how to move on. It added a lot of problems in my relationship, my first one. And right after that, break up, right? A year and a half, break up. Boom, it sucks. Have her cries. I honestly felt happy. I broke up with her. And after breaking up with her, not worried about healing myself whatsoever. Again, I'm 16, 17 at the time. So my thought is get as many females as I can. I'm looking the best. I'm as confident as I am. I have that deep down insecurity, but I was very confident on the outside. So I'm like, what I'm going to do is go ahead and move on and just mess around for a little bit. You know, we're young and dumb. So mess around for a little bit. But then I seen the girl of my dreams pretty much. And that was just like, okay, that's my green light to go and shoot. Like, come on. I'm like, if we've taken this long and now we're finally getting back into touch, I'm not going to let this opportunity slip my way again. So I got into a relationship with her. And in that first year, man, oh my God, when the spark is at its highest, oh my God, I know you know it. It is the best fucking time of your life. You are in cloud nine for the first year of the relationship. Honestly, for a lot of people, 3 months, but for me, it was a year and a half. I was on fucking cloud nine. I was high as a kite, and I was in love madly. But something just happened to where that spark was gone for me. I had to realize that. And it was pretty fucked because we broke up. She broke up with me, and I feel like she could feel that my love wasn't there for her anymore. And I wasn't the same person I was when we first got together. My love for her was growing less and less because I couldn't even love myself. Letting go of that childhood trauma is going to be your best bet of all time. Okay? It is what's going to let you move on and become the new person that you know you need to be. It's helping me finally feel like I'm in control of my own life. And it's because I don't let the emotion of anger and sadness dwell over me when I think about my childhood. Because looking back on it, I had an amazing one. I know, and some are going to have it worse than I do. But it's just my perspective on it now. If you were to ask me this 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have said my childhood fucking sucks and I hate my dad. That's honestly my answer. But looking back on it, the amount of happiness that I truly have and miss of my childhood, it's insane. And I miss a lot of it. And I feel like me healing over the bad lets me look on the good in a perspective I'd never had before. And those memories that I made as a child will forever stick with me. That is what I'm going to think about when I'm marrying whoever my soulmate is how much I miss my childhood. You as a child is who you wish you still were. Those thoughts can only be processed once you start to think back on all the bad and all the good. Your perspective on your childhood may not be the best now, but that doesn't mean you can not let go. You have the full ability to let go of all those bad thoughts, to where majority of what you want to be thinking about is all the good happiness that you had and you enjoyed as a kid, up until the external factors start coming in, whether that's your parents, your teachers, the people you go to school with, your aunts, uncles, grandparents, whoever it is. Your external environment is what shapes you to have all these stressful thoughts and all these, what I feel like, are mental inhibitors, because those inhibitors, I feel like, suppress a lot of our creative minds, and we feel like we're not as good as we're supposed to be because of what our parents had said to us. And it kind of just shuts you down, especially at such a young age like that. Your mind gets completely shut down and overthrown. You're no longer in control. All you can do is process what your parents are screaming at you and know you did something wrong, and you don't want to risk having to hear from them like that again. So you completely just break down and stop. You stop thinking for you, and you start to walk on eggshells around your parents or whoever the aggressor is in the situation. Start walking around on eggshells, hoping not to piss them off, to go back into your childhood and then heal that young boy, young girl that you were, and let them know that you're okay, that they're okay, and that all you guys are going to do is move on and let go. Let go of all those hurtful, negative thoughts, and move on and make new memories with the people who are around you and who do love you every day. So, for that, I'm going to end this now. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me ramble on about my inner child and how much I miss him. That is why I just want to bring this into light. I feel like all of us should heal our inner child before moving on to something greater and better. But that's all I got today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.